Okay. I tend to use more of the 40K. My iPad's at 79%. I have to keep tabs on that. Look at that screen. Isn't that awful? Look around for the thing I used to wipe off. This I never use a cleaner on this stuff. This is look at the texture of that, what it looks like. This is what I use to clean my lenses with. And it wasn't my idea, it was my mom's idea. She got these packs. I'll go and get the cloth pack and then you can see what exactly it looks like. I'm not going to bother to cut the video on this thing. You just be forced to look at my awful note for him. This is what she uses. And I guess she bought a whole bunch of it, and this is all we use, is this stuff. And they're based in, it's www.kkcloth.com. It's Ku Klux Klan cloth. No, I'm just kidding. KK cloth, crystal clear, made in the USA. Dedicated to cleaner earth, crystal clear products. No chemical cleaning products or paper towels needed. Polishes as it cleans. Use only water. Mirrors, glass, windows, stainless steel, granite, shower doors, TVs, computers, cars, boats, motorcycles, chrome tile, plastic, fiberglass. Removes fingerprints, soap scum, bugs, grease, brake dust, dirt, water spots. Water sports. That's what Trump likes to do. Tar and more. Streak free, chemical free, spot free, lint free, and pretty free of most advertised crap. The kind of crap that And these are guys that don't have to advertise themselves. They're so good that I advertise them because I like it. It's called viral marketing. You see, the thing that's really silly about viral marketing is marketing people think they do viral marketing. They don't understand the quality of the product sells the product for them. That's viral marketing. You cannot be a marketer and harness the power of viral marketing unless you're making your product better. If you're viral marketing, if you think you're viral marketing, you're not viral marketing. You're under the wrong impression of what viral marketing is. Viral marketing isn't something I'll say it again, it isn't something your marketing department does. What it is what your product does. If your product is so good that people just buy it and tell their friends, that act of them telling their friends and their friends telling their friends that this is fantastic shit, that's viral marketing. Now, you may be able to increase that effect with a marketer who understands the effect, and they may be able to condition your product, or they may be able to condition it in such a way to make it easier for the audience to pass and share the information via social media. But it isn't really viral marketing unless the product is so good that it sells itself. And it's selling itself because these guys are not paying me to advertise it to you. I just pulled this out of the drawer because this is what me and my mom use to clean everything. And it works. And it works so well. I use it on my glasses. what my mom does is she was an accountant for my stepfather's business, and he sold vending supplies for candy, Coke machines, and stuff like that. So whenever I was growing up, and cigarette machines, when they did sell cigarettes and vending machines, which they did in the 70s and 80s, but and that was when their operation was in full swing. Who did them out of business was the Sam's wholesale down just situated it down the road from where our business was. That did us in. That pretty much did in the whole company. It still existed, but it was kind of like in fragments, and it wasn't that we were involved with it. It was employees that we had working who kept it going, and we got out of the business because my parents were getting at the age where they could do that. You know, they could retire. But my mom was an accountant, and before that she was a homemaker. And in college she wanted to be a botanist. She never completed it because she saw a need to have a family and raise children. So my dad was a physicist, and convinced her that, you know, she didn't really want to do botany. She wanted to be a homemaker. So they ended up in going that direction. But I won't get into that personal stuff. What she does these days is she makes quilts for boys in orphanages, and the thing she often gets whenever, I mean, this is the payback that you get. It's the payback in what the children say when they get the quilt for Christmas, and they say stuff like, "My parents would never waste time on me. They would never spend time to make something like this. I've never had anybody who cared this much about me to make me a quilt." You know, it's things like that, and she says the children value the quilts like they were a PlayStation 4 or something. You know, it really means a lot to them to have that quilt, and so that's what drives her is just the need for things like this from children who have yet to be adopted by a family. They're in an orphanage. They would love to have a quilt, and so you got some old ladies that are sitting around. Every now and then, someday, they all come together and they work on the quilts, and that's what my mom does. She works on quilts. Her mom worked on quilts. My grandmother worked on quilts, and so if I had children and I had girls, my mom would be teaching my girls, if I had girls, to quilt. You know, but she's still alive, but she probably won't be for another decade because she's getting at that age. You get into your 80s, and then it's a question whether or not you'll ever get to your 90s. And then the question in your 90s is if you'll ever even remember that you're 90, you know, that you'll be convinced that you're still 20, but then you'll look at your body and you'll say, what is this old body? This ain't my body. And you'll be trying to convince everybody, this ain't my body. It says, no, it is your body. And it says, you're 90. And then, wait, how did I get to be 90? I thought I was 20. That's old folks right there. That's what happens. Dementia will do that to you. And there's some documentary where this guy, they talk about, I think it's the documentary about giving MP3 players to, I don't think it was that one, but there is things like that. There's this great documentary about these guy that found out that if you put music of a certain era on an MP3 player and you play it into the headphones and put it on an old person's ears that's sitting there kind of dormant, not really interacting with the world and seems to be asleep, they become awake, and then their eyes open, and then they just like they're responsive, and you can ask them questions and stuff. and it's like something out of Robin Williams' movies, Awakenings. They come out of whatever it was that had them in a kind of a paralysis, and they come out of it. And I think it's "Alive Inside" is the name of the song. Name of the documentary is called "Alive Inside," and it's. Let me verify that. Make sure that that's the one. So this is the iPad I was using. The one that's showing me what my video is taking here is on this guy over here. So, Safari. So go Yandex. I'll go to Yandex. Google keeps telling me that I've got bots on my. Probably got somebody hacked my iPad already. I wouldn't know. Alive Inside. Yeah. So let's get the trailer for it. It's a great movie. Great documentary. I'd give it an award. So we'll play the.
I have one resident that Billy opened her eye. She didn't respond. As much as I tried, I knew her for 2 years. No matter what I tried, massage wouldn't work. Nothing worked. So when we got introduced to the iPods, and the family told me the things that she liked, it was amazing once we put the iPod on her. She started shaking her feet. She started moving her head. Her son was just amazed. Okay, can we stop? Because now I'm getting all I'm seeing her all over again. Hi, Papa. Hi, Papa.
Huh?
How you doing?
I'm all right. Fine. Wait.
Who am I?
I don't know. Wait a minute. I don't know.
Okay, it's Cherry. How long has he been in the nursing home? Approximately 10 years. He was having seizures, and my mother couldn't handle him at home. Of course, it affected me greatly because he was always, fun-loving, singing, every occasion he would come out with a song, no matter where he was. I remember as a child, he used to walk us down the street, me and my brother, and he would stop and do Singing in the Rain. He would have us jumping and swinging around poles. He was, he was good. He was always into music, always loved singing, dancing. His name is Henry Drea.
Uh-huh.
And I'm looking more or less for religious music for him. Because he enjoys music and he always quoting the Bible. So I'd rather have that for him.
We first see Henry inert, maybe depressed, unresponsive, and almost unalive.
Henry.
Yeah?
Henry.
Yes,
I found your music. You want your music now? Okay. Let's try your music, okay? And then you tell me if it's too loud or not.
And then he is given an iPod containing, we know, his favorite music. And immediately he lights up. His face assumes expression. His eyes open wide. He starts to sing, to rock, and to move his arms, and he's being animated by the music.
And he used to always sit on the unit with his head like this. He didn't really talk to much people. And then when I introduced the music to him, this is his reaction ever since.
The philosopher Kant once called music the quickening art, and Henry is being quickened. He's being brought to life.
Yeah.
I'm going to take the music for 1 second, okay? Just to ask you a few questions. Okay? I'm going to give it back to you.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
The effect of this doesn't stop, because when the headphones are taken off,
I'm looking at an
normally
iPad
virtually unable to
over
answer
here that I
yes
can
or
see
no
what's going
questions.
through the
It's
camera.
quite voluble.
Henry,
So I'm
Yeah.
looking at what you're looking at. I'm just
do you
looking
like
at a
the
different
iPod?
screen.
Do you like the music you're hearing?
Yes.
Tell me about your music.
Well, I don't have one. I mean,
Do you like music?
yeah, I'm crazy about music. Yeah, you play beautiful music, beautiful sound, beautiful.
Did you play music when you were? Did you like music when you were young?
Yes, I went to big dances and things.
What was your favorite music when you were young?
I guess, well, Cab Calloway.
Who was in the
my
Blues
number
Brothers
one band guy. I like.
movie?
The
guy that sings,
What was your favorite Cab Calloway song?
Oh, I'll be home there for Christmas. Oh, you can count and plan on me with plenty of snow, mistletoe, present wrapped around your tree. Ow!
So, in some sense, Henry is restored to himself. He has remembered who he is, and he's reacquired his identity for a while through the power of music.
What does music do to you?
Give me the feeling of love, romance. Because right now the world needs to come into music, singing. You got beautiful music in. Beautiful, oh, lovely. And I feel the band of love, the dream. The Lord came to me, made me holy. I'm a holy man. So he gave me this sound. So they say, I meet you. Say, Rosalie, won't you love me? Rosalie, won't you be sweet and kind?
With this beautiful new technology, you can have all the music which is significant for you in something as big as a matchbox or whatever. And I think this may be very, very important in helping to animate, organize, and bring a sense of identity back to people who are out of it. Otherwise, music will bring them back into it, into their own personhood, their own memories, their own autobiographies.
Remember me? Honestly, I don't remember who you are.
And that was the trailer. I guess there's more to it, but it's great. It's a great documentary. But at the end of it, they pretty much give you the sad, dismal part, and that is that the nursing homes will not bring these MP3 players into. You have to do it. You have to be volunteering yourself to go to the nursing homes and give them the MP3 players, because the insurance companies are not going to pay for MP3 players for old folks, and the nursing homes themselves, they're not in the business to do that sort of thing. They really are not there to care so much for the patient as they are to make sure that the patient can survive in their what goes on inside the patient doesn't matter as much as what the survival of the patient in the nursing home. And when COVID hit, they got hit with another whammy, and that is that they had to put in filtering systems and all sorts of stuff in order to deal with COVID. So their minds are not on stuff like that, and they probably should be, because the people that are having to look after the COVID patients, they need music to distract them from the stress that is going to kill them. Either the stress is going to kill them, or the concern and their need to empathize and all that stuff, it's going to go out the window. They're going to need the music to distract them, to make them feel like they're having a good time when they're not. And the old folks are going to need the music so that they can get back to who they are. Also to distract them from the fact that they can't meet with their children if it's COVID, because the children might be carrying the COVID. The solution to that is the children in Microsoft, Bill Gates, if you're listening, you need to see if you can get from Oculus the Go line patents and redistribute these gut suckers. And you may have thrown $100 million at AIDS research, which is, as far as I can tell, is all you've ever done. And you're raking in all of the popularity from that. That's probably offsetting all the crap that you did in the 80s by destroying companies that came to the forefront and could have done some really good, like VisiCalc, from which you got your ideas for Excel and things like that. I would be willing to forget all that stuff and my feelings towards you if you would create a Go line like this, make it about $100, and put them in every single nursing institution in America. And that wouldn't be too much to ask for, I don't think. At least one to every nursing home, just so they can get a taste for what it would do. Put Minecraft VR on every single one of those Oculus Go's. Hook them up to a server. Permit the old folks to connect with their grandchildren in Minecraft. The old folks don't have to do much. They just have to sit still. And the grandchildren will go off and they'll figure out ways to get the old folks going through Minecraft without the old folks actually having to use a controller or anything. They'll be like, and you will figure out ways of making this work. But if you can do that, you will get lots of love and kisses and stuff from me if you can get this line of hardware and do that AliveInSide thing, but with VR. It would really help our old folks who are dealing with COVID and are not able to see their grandchildren. And then possibly also VR 180 video like this, so that they can like actually feel like they're with their grandchildren when they can't be with their grandchildren. There's possibly a potential future in VR 180 teleconferencing. You know, having cameras like this. You can't have them on both ends because somebody's going to have to be wearing a VR headset. But at the meeting, you might have a VR 360 camera sitting on the table, and or that's probably not a good position. Probably have it just hovering a little bit above. Maybe it's got quadcopters on it, and it's just hovering in space and moving around, and whoever's talking, it moves closer to them, and they feel kind of awkward doing it the first time, but eventually their brain will, you know, just as you get into New York City and you forget that there's these 100-story things above you, your brain's going to wipe out the fact that there's a quadcopter 360 VR camera hovering around the table, jumping to whoever's talking when they're talking. But I see that as the future of teleconferencing, is VR teleconferencing with VR headsets, and you feel like you're there, and it wouldn't even matter if you were there or not. The people that you go to talk to in these things, the only thing they want to make sure is that the data lines between you and them are absolutely encrypted, that there's no eavesdroppers. That can be maintained. That can be done, and it can be done fairly efficiently and cost effectively and things like that. And you could have the people that would choose to use Zoom, and then you'd have the people with the VR headsets. And I guarantee you, the guy with the VR headsets are going to still be listening to you long after the guys with Zoom are going to fall asleep, because they will. It's these 2D displays. It's been known to people who deal with VR that people who use Zoom displays, or use Zoom, they get tired. They can't handle more than an hour or two of interacting with Zoom. This is just what I hear. I don't do anything with Zoom, but this is what I hear, and I can imagine it's the case because if you've ever done anything like FaceTime, there's only so much time you can spend in front of the of the iPad before you start getting tired and you want to go over and get something to drink. With VR, you can go up, get something to drink, fix a pizza, and do a whole bunch of other stuff, and it's like you've never left the room because the whole display is right there on your face. And so, and I mean, with a Go, it's much easier to do that. With the Quest, it's a little harder because the Quest does 6 stuff, and that means it will track where you are in the room. And if you're using some app that's trying to situate the screen in one area of the house, then to go and get a drink and something to eat is going to take you away from the display. And what you're going to be doing with the Go is you're going to be doing this. You're going to be getting your drink and stuff and eating, and then you'll pop down into this to interact with people. Then you'll go back up to this. They won't see your face, but if they're looking into their display, they might see an avatar, and the avatar, the orientation of the head of the avatar will be determined by this thing because this has got sensors in it for 3-dot orientation, and that's all they really need. They just need to know that you're looking in their general direction. They don't need to know that what your eyes are doing. In AllSpace VR, people go into AllSpace VR and they say, "Hey, can you see me whenever I look at this guy? Can you see me whenever I blink?" And people say no. And it says, "Why is that?" And it says, "Well, there is no eye tracking in AllSpace. AllSpace VR is owned by Microsoft, and Microsoft bought it up later. They screwed up a lot of stuff, but this is something they added that was kind of a positive, but it's a kind of a false positive in that people don't understand that it's not tracking your eyes. What it's doing is it's using clever programming to determine what somebody's eyes will be doing if somebody, say, runs past them. Because if somebody runs past you, your eyes will, for a short amount of time, dart to look at that person, and then will go back to looking at whoever they were looking at, you know. But the way the client is set up in AllSpace is that everybody in the room is looking at you, no matter what is being done. Everyone is looking at you, probably based on distance. If they're far away, they're probably going to be looking somewhere else. But they program it in such a way that everybody is interested in you. But that's every client. And so in every client, the perception is that everybody's looking at them, and it can make them want to talk, and the other people will do the same thing, and they'll be like, "Oh, well, ain't I the center of attention?" And everybody will laugh because they know what the client's doing. You know that the client, the software, and the headset are is making you think that everybody's looking at you, when in reality there's no way for them to be able to determine who's looking at who, and even who is even there, you know. But there is a side to this that Microsoft wouldn't want you to know about, and that is that all audio and video communications, this is true for anything you do on the internet, can be recorded. Text, audio, video, motion sensors, anything that's got a sensor on your device can be used and stored up to the microsecond. It depends on how much detail they want to get. And the only thing that's going to keep them from doing it is if the government somehow has some involvement in the making of the software, because the government can't do that. They can come into a casino and say, "Okay, is all of your casino, all your video gaming machines using proper random number generators, ones that are equiprobable? Therefore, we don't want any loaded die. We want to make sure that they're using the industry standard random number generator in their software." And the government will actually get into the hardware of their machine and determine what machine, if they're using industry standard computers, and that it's not something custom, you know, because they want to guarantee that it's correct. But that's not going to say whether that's not going to determine what the odds of winning are. It has nothing to do with that. It's just about having non-loaded die, having random number generators that are guaranteed to produce equiprobable random number generation. How they do that, I do not know. All I can imagine is the random number generators use a lot of sine waveforms of different frequencies, and as a result of that, can produce a random number